So we'll meet on the mat in any comfortable seated position. For today's flow, we're going to be focusing on building strength for inversions and like different arm balances and that sort of thing. Then we'll also be focusing on twists to help release the shoulders and that sort of thing towards the end. So just taking a moment to settle in and closing the eyes and trying to equalize the breath. So inhaling, starting with maybe just a slow count of 2, inhaling for 2 and exhaling for 2. And again, inhale and exhale. And then maybe lengthening that to a count of 4. Inhaling as you count to 4 in your head. And exhaling as you count to 4. And trying to notice if maybe one feels easier than the other. I always have a harder time remembering to lengthen my inhale than lengthening the exhale. And it's important to have a balance of the two because we draw our energy, our strength from our inhale, and then our exhale allows us to calm and ground our bodies. Releasing your hands out to the sides, and then on your next inhale, reaching the arms up and overhead, allowing the palms to touch, and drawing the hands down to the center of the chest. Taking a moment to set an intention or a focal point for your practice, and somewhere to focus your thoughts as you're moving. And then as you exhale, release your hands down and let's start to walk the hands forward, folding forward here slightly, breathing into the back side of the body. Feeling some space between the shoulder blades. And walking the hands back in, slowly stacking the spine. Reaching the left hand over to the left and the right hand up and over to the right. Imagining your back is against a wall, so we're trying to keep the chest open and just turning and looking underneath your arm. And then lifting up through center and over to the other side. Right hand down, left arm up and over. Good. And then back up through center. We'll go over to the first side again. Left hand down, right arm up. Maybe this time you can go down onto your elbow or reach further with that arm that's overhead. And then as you exhale, let's rotate our chest down towards the ground, and we're reaching out to the side now, walking our hands out to the side here. Breathing into your lats on the right arm or the right side of the back. And walking the hands through center, straight out in front of you. Deep breath here. And then walking the hands back in to stack the spine nice and tall. Okay, going to the other side, right hand down, left arm up and over, maybe coming down onto the forearm of the right arm and reaching your left arm over, trying to look underneath your arm, spiraling the chest open. And then on your exhale, rotating the chest down towards the mat and walking your hands out. Starting to walk your hands forward, folding in half, reaching your hands out in front of you, and allowing the weight of your body to sink down towards the floor. And then walking the hands back in and up. If you're sitting with the legs crisscross, let's change the direction of the cross, like which leg is on top. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale to draw your shoulders up by your ears, and then exhale, roll them down and back. And a few more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, roll the shoulders down and back. And one more time. Letting the shoulders drop down into the pocket. So think about you're trying to always broaden across your collarbones, creating good posture. And then also let the shoulders sink down. Let's drop the chin down towards the chest, stretching through the neck. And then starting to roll your head from one side to the other side. So I like to stay kind of in this front half circle. If it feels good to make a full circle, you can. And then finishing up one last rotation. And we'll stack the head up on top of the spine. Reaching our arms out to the sides, we're going to do another little bit of a warm up for your shoulders. So reaching our hands out, we're going to flip our palms to face up and think like you're trying to turn your thumbs all the way down so they touch the ground, and then turn them the other way. So we're just, basically it's like you're just turning your arm inside the shoulder socket. Good. Okay, now let's bend the arms like goal pose. So we're here. Try and reach your elbows forward, reach your hands back, and then go the other direction. So ideally, we're trying to keep our elbow in like the same position. Reach your hands down, and then reach up and back, open, and then down. And really push and create some resistance in your own body. Let's do one more time. So you're thinking reaching your elbow kind of away from your hand, and then other direction. Reach. Good. And we'll release our hands down, shake it out. Okay, uncrossing the legs. Let's go into an all fours position. Your wrists under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Inhaling to drop the belly, look up. And then exhale, press the ground away, chin towards your chest. So continuing to move at your own pace. I did some like pull-up type stuff yesterday, and for whatever reason I'm really feeling it in my core. So I feel like I have a six-pack, and I can definitely feel the stretch here on this cow position. Okay, one more time. Inhale, arch. And then exhale, press the ground away. Nice. Let's come back to the center here. Really neutral through the spine. So we're going to stay in all fours. If this becomes too much for your wrists or your wrists are sensitive, you can always sit back onto your heels. But we're going to lift just our right hand, lift the palm up, and then press it down. And then left hand, lift the palm up and press it down. So we're trying to kind of stretch through our hands here. Lift and lower and lift. Warming up into our hands. And one more time on each side, lifting your palm up and press it down, and palm up and press it down. Let's bring the heels of the hands together and just kind of circle your shoulders around, getting pressure into different points on your hands. And then circle in the other direction, really spreading your fingers out. Nice. And then we'll come back to center here. Okay. Spreading the fingers nice and wide. Now moving to the lower body. Right leg reaches out long behind you here. Lifting it up and finding a straight, long line here, and really be active through the legs. You're pushing the floor away. Good. We're going to take the leg out to the side and then draw it back to center. And so you can go a little bit, or you can go like you're trying to like karate kick an imaginary person next to you. Good. Let's do 3 and 2 and 1. And then back and lower the knee down. Take a deep breath here. Recalibrate through the hands. Spread the fingers. Left leg lifts behind you, bringing the leg up to hip height. And so really make sure the abdominals are pulled in. Low back is long. Glutes are engaged. And then take your left leg out to the side and back to center. And left leg to the side and center. And so you can move to the side as much or as little as feels good to you. And 3, and 2, and 1. Good. Back to the center here. We'll take our knees a little bit wider, sit our hips back into our heels, and come into a child's pose. Good. Let's make our child's pose a little bit more active. So press your palms down and just start to lift up into your forearms. So the only part of your hand that's touching the ground is your palm. Or if you want even more, you can lift up and just have the fingertips touching onto the mat. And your forehead is down as well. Good. Let's bring the forearms back down, and we'll press them down, shifting forward to come into like this forearm plank type position. So walk your knees back. We're in a modified plank with the forearms down, and we're hovering off the ground here, tucking the toes, lifting the knees. So now we're in a straight line, and we're just going to press through the toes and reach forward. So we're over the shoulders and then pull back. So you're pushing forward and then pulling back. Forward, think like nose to your thumbs and back. Ooh, keep your butt down. My butt was lifting up there and back. Let's do 2 more. Forward and back. And last one, forward and back. Lower the knees down. Tuck your toes under. Press the palms into the ground. Lifting up through our downward facing dog to find a stretch. Pressing your hands into the ground, maybe bending one knee and then the other, shifting your weight from side to side, stretching through the backs of the legs. Inhale to look up between the thumbs, start to walk the feet forward to meet the hands in our forward fold here. You can grab elbow to elbow, helping to pull the arms heavy towards the mat. Let your head relax. The head can shake no or nod yes. And slowly release the hands. Inhale to reach up to stand fully. Palms touch overhead and draw down to the center of the chest. Taking a moment here, spread the toes, shoulders down away from the ears. Nice. On an inhale, reach your arms around and up. Look up. Maybe a little baby back bend here. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale to halfway lift. So if you can, try to work towards getting your hands on the ground next to your feet. So if your hands already touch the ground, but they're like hanging out wherever, try and pull them back so it's like your fingers are in line with your toes. And if you're like, my hands definitely don't touch the ground yet, just think of that engagement of pulling your shoulders down your back, even if your hands are on your shins as you lift. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, pull deeper. Now we'll all bend the knees if we need to get the hands onto the floor, stepping back into our plank position here. Okay, so in our plank, you could also do this from all fours. We're going to do some scapular push-ups. So you're going to be letting your chest basically drop through, shoulder blades come together, and then press them out and away. So my elbows are straight the whole time. And I'm just kind of like moving my body through my shoulder blades here. Wait. So we're just kind of like lifting and lowering, elbows are straight. Good. And 1. Okay, we'll lower the knees down and then move through our vinyasa, exhaling to lower through. Inhale, roll the shoulders back and down, looking up. And exhaling back to our downward facing dog. Walking the hands back slightly to take a twist here. Let's take our left hand and reach it either underneath the navel, you can press it on the ground, or to the outside of your right leg, so you can look underneath and through your arm. and back to center, and then other side. Right hand reaches either underneath your navel or to the outside of your leg, looking underneath your left arm. Deep breath in here. And slowly release that hand back. Inhale to look up between the thumbs. Bend the knees, step, walk, or hop to the top of the mat. Forward fold. Trying to draw the hands back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, deepen. And then inhale, reach the arms up, reversing your swan dive. Palms touch overhead. And draw down to the center of your chest. Good. We'll do a couple more rounds of just regular Surya Namaskar A. Inhaling to reach your arms up. Look up, press the hips forward. Exhale, fold forward and down. Drawing the hands back, shoulders down the back. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Step, walk, or hop back to your plank position. And then lowering down through your chaturanga. Inhaling to scoop through, cobra up dog. And exhaling back to your downward facing dog. Holding here, press the ground away. Feel the muscles around your shoulders engage. On an inhale, look up between the thumbs. We can try to walk, step, or hop the feet up between the hands. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward and down. Inhaling to reverse the swan dive. Lifting up, palms touch. Drawing the hands down to the center of the chest. Okay, one more time. Inhale, reaching your hands up and around. Look up, little baby back bend. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk, step, or hop back, lowering down through your chaturanga. Inhale to scoop through cobra up dog. Exhaling back to your downward facing dog. And then holding here. Let's try our karate kicks from here again. So you can always go back to all fours if you need to. Otherwise, let's lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. And then reach your leg out to the side, and it can be a little bit or it can be a lot, like you're trying to stamp your foot on the wall next to you. Reach your leg out, and then bring it back. Good. And out, and back. One more time, and out, and back. Good. Set the foot down. Take a deep breath. And then let's go to the left. Left leg reaches up towards the ceiling. And then reach the leg out towards the side. And back up to center. And out to the side. And back to center. Good. Use your breath. And one more time. And then reach the leg back up towards the ceiling. We'll lower the foot down. Look up between the hands. Walk, step, or hop forward. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and deepen. So just take a moment here. Maybe even take the backs of your hands and press them onto the floor, kind of getting a stretch through your wrists. If you want, and if your flexibility allows, you can actually tuck your palms underneath the soles of your feet and step your feet onto your hands, bending your elbows and trying to lengthen out through your spine. Okay. Slowly releasing that clasp, take the hands up to the side, overhead, palms draw down to the center of your chest, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. Okay. Let's step out to face the long edge of your mat. So you're turned to the side here. Inhale, reach your arms out. Exhale, fold forward and down here. So we're really focusing on trying to get our head to touch the ground. We're going to revisit this pose at some point and try to get the steps for how you would get into headstand from here. So initially just start to focus on reaching for the outsides of your legs, trying to pull your head closer to the ground. And part of that too is how far apart your legs are. So if your legs are further apart, it's going to be easier to get your head down onto the ground. If your legs are closer together, your head is going to be further from the ground. So you can play around with that, trying to get the most length you can through your spine, maybe even walking your hands through and underneath your legs if you feel like you can pull there better. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. And last one, deep breath in and exhale. We'll reach the hands out to the side, inhaling up to stand. Beautiful. So from here, taking your left leg, turning it towards the short edge of your mat, moving into a warrior 2. So you have our arms out to the sides. Warrior 2, let's lean forward, coming into side angle, reach open through the chest, looking underneath your arm. And then press the ground away and lifting up and over to the other side, reversing your warrior. Good. Really focusing on the side body stretch as you move from one side to the other side, trying to keep the hips low. And then the next time you land into your side angle position, hold it there, reaching your arm long. Let's take our hand into our back pocket, reaching around so you're trying to get that right hand to reach for your opposite hip. Good. Once you have that, maybe lowering your left hand down towards the ground. So your left hand should be able to touch comfortably. And reaching your hand maybe through, around, and behind in here to grab fingertips, opening through your chest, stretching through the shoulders. One more deep breath here. And then when you're ready, unfolding the arms, pressing ourselves back up to stand. I like to walk my feet in a little bit, moving into triangle pose from here. Reaching your hips back and your arms forward. Reaching down and over the left leg, coming into our Trikonasana. So you have a straight line from hand to hand. And if you can, turn your palm so like the back of your hand is against the inside of your foot. And then here, if you'd like to take the hand into the back pocket as well, working on that rotation, maybe turning your head to look up towards the ceiling. And then press the floor away, lifting back up nice and tall. Okay. Taking our hands to our hips, pivoting your body, so we're now facing over our left leg. We're going to bend into that leg. Reach your arms out to the side like airplane wings and coming into our warrior 3. And so this is really the foundation for all of our inversions here, is having this straight line from your shoulder through your heel. So make sure your right butt cheek isn't lifted up above your left butt cheek. You're pressing strong through your left foot. You could even have your hands onto the ground if you needed to for balance. Let's take one more deep breath here. And then we're going to land into a runner's lunge. You're going to lower your right knee down, hands on either side of the foot. Step back to plank, moving through your vinyasa, exhaling to lower. Inhale to scoop through cobra up dog. And then exhaling back to downward facing dog. Lowering our forearms down onto the ground for some dolphin pose work. So this is another really good foundational pose for arm bouncing and inverting. You want to really push your forearms into the ground, lift through your shoulders, and walk your toes in as close towards your face as you can. And we're just going to hold here and breathe. Try and press through your big toes so you get your inner thighs active. That helps to fire up through the core. Take one more deep breath here. And then let's lower one knee down and then the other, coming into a child's pose here. Catching your breath. Your hands can sweep around by your heels if you like. Letting your shoulders roll forward. Let's walk the hands back out in front of us, lifting up slightly. So we're going to do a prep for headstand. If you're not comfortable with headstand, you don't have to go into it. Or if you know that you have like neck sensitivity, I would recommend just going back into this dolphin pose and focusing on strength. But if you're feeling good about it, you can interlace your hands, bring the top of your head. So you want it to be like this flat part of your head, not like the front part. So this kind of like where the swirl would be, and then set your head on the floor, wrap your hands around your head. And then you're just going to lift back up to where we would be for dolphin pose, and you want to really push your forearms and your head into the ground. And initially you want to build up a lot of strength here so you can press down, and if you want to lift one leg up or the other leg up or start to feel some balance there, you can. Good. Yeah. And then when you're ready, let's come back into our child's pose. We'll have another chance to work on our headstand. Those look good. Deb, when you went up, you kind of went off camera, so I didn't see what happened, and I can see all of Kathy's back muscles working really hard. Good. Nice. So just it's always a good rule of thumb, for whatever amount of time you spend compressing your neck or upside down, you also want to spend that same amount of time in your child's pose. So again, hands can be down or up, but just take a couple of deep breaths. Good. And that can really be the hardest part. I know for most people, like, you want to get the cool pose, you want to do the next thing. It's kind of just like go, 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 go is what our lifestyle is. So when you feel that feeling kind of like rising up in yourself, and like just try and ground your energy a little bit more so you can always approach the pose from a calm, safe place. So we'll reach our hands out in front of us, tuck the toes under, lift the hips back and up, looking up between your thumbs. Walk, step, or hop forward to the short edge of your mat. We'll inhale to halfway lift, exhale to fold forward, and then reach all the way up nice and tall. Palms touch overhead and draw down to the center of the chest. Stepping out wide to the side again, so facing the long edge of your mat. Inhaling to reach our hands out to the side, and then exhale, fold forward and down. So if you had success with your headstand and you felt comfortable and balanced, you can work towards it here. So I think it is easier to go into more of a tripod variation where you have your head and your hands down. However, if you've been practicing headstand for less than like 6 months to a year, I would probably still do the clasped variation if you can, because it's just a little bit more supported. So you'll want to press your head and your hands or your forearms down onto the mat, and then you can start to just lift up onto your tiptoes, and maybe just one foot lifts and then the other, or maybe you kick over the furniture in your room trying to lift up. Good. And it really helps you get this, like, trying in different leg positions, getting this lift up through your lower abdominals, which will help with all the other inversions and arm balances. Good. Let's take 1 or 2 more deep breaths wherever you are. And then press your palms back, lengthen out through your neck. Maybe walk your feet in a little bit closer if you walk them wider to get your head down onto the floor. And let's take a couple twists here to just release everything. So take your right hand over to your left leg and then looking up towards the ceiling. Breathe here. Try and just let your head relax. Let it hang out. And then going to the other side, left hand over to the right leg. Right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. And then both hands come back down to center, softening into your knees, rounding through the spine and slowly rolling up, one vertebra at a time. Doing our standing sequence on the other side. So we have our right foot, we're going to turn into our warrior two. Our arms go out to the side, reaching long. Moving into our side angle with your forearm down on your thigh, sweeping your left arm overhead, lengthening out through the whole side of your body, trying to sit as low as you can. And then keep the hips low. Inhale to lift back up and over, reversing your warrior. Good. And then moving side to side at your own pace of breath. Really stretching through the lats, reaching through the side of your body. The next time you land into your side angle position, hold it there. We'll take our top hand around into our back pocket. So you're reaching your left hand for your opposite hip. Once you have that, lowering your hand down towards the floor, trying to keep the chest open, keeping your hips low, and then maybe reaching around under and behind, grabbing hand to hand, turning and looking up towards the ceiling. One more deep breath here, trying to roll that top shoulder open any amount more that you can. And we'll release the hands. Inhale to lift back up, straightening through your front leg. I like to walk my feet in a little bit closer for triangle pose. Sending your hips back, reaching your arm forward and down. Stretching from hand to hand, having the back of your hand pressing against your leg. And if you like, taking your top hand into your back pocket. Nice, and we'll slowly release and lift back up nice and tall, bringing our hands to our hips, pivoting our bodies, bending through the front knee, reach your arms out to the side like airplane wings, and then launch yourself forward into your warrior three. So if you lose your balance and need to set one hand or both hands down, that is fine. We're really worried about this long line through the back side of the body. So pretend like you're trying to touch the back of your head, the backs of your shoulder blades, the backs of your hips to the ceiling, and you're trying to keep your leg lifted. Breathe. Good. 3, 2. Ending in our runner's lunge. So one hand comes on either side of the foot, bend through the knee, setting your back leg down. And then moving through our vinyasa. So stepping back, moving through your plank, exhaling to lower down with control. Inhale to scoop through. And then exhaling back to your downward facing dog. And you can hold in your down dog or in a child's pose. It's up to you, wherever you feel like you need to be to ground your body. Nice, okay. So let's all lower our knees again. Or, if you're in child's pose, you'll just lift up a little bit. We're going to move into our dolphin pose again. Forearms down on the ground, making sure they're shoulder distance apart, palms down. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, and coming here into our dolphin pose. So if this pose feels like a lot is happening, just stay here. If you want to add a little bit more, you can lift one leg up and really find that like warrior three stance through that lifted leg. So it's strong. It's your rudder steering the ship. And then your other foot, we're just going to take 3 little baby hops on each side. So you're going to lift, hop, and lift, and hop. Good. And then let's come into a child's pose. Here, we're going to rest between sides because that one's a lot. You can sweep your hands down around. Let your shoulders roll forward. Take a deep breath. On an inhale, reaching your arms back out long, forearms down. And then tucking the toes back up into our dolphin position, lifting your hips up. Walk your feet in, maybe lifting a leg up here, finding your warrior 3 stance, and then bend into the foot that's on the ground and just little hop. And your hop might not be a whole lot at first, that's okay. Good. And after about 3 or so, we'll meet back into a child's pose, reaching your hands down by your heels. Inhaling to reach your hands out in front of you. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. We are going to hop forward, but we're going to hop our feet nice and wide. So you can step or hop your feet on the outside of your hands like a little frog. And then inhale to stand up nice and tall here. So we're in this little turned out wide position here. Inhale to reach your hands up, draw the palms down to the center of the chest. And then bend your knees, sit down nice and low into your Yogi Squat or your Malasana. And we'll hold it down here. Good. Okay, so opening up the shoulders before we go into another little arm balance sequence. We're going to take left hand down, reach your right arm up. And you can hold here, just enjoying the stretch. You can turn your right hand thumb down and maybe reach around and find another bind here. Trying to grab fingers to fingers behind your left hip. Yeah, it's a tricky one. It's like balance and shoulder flexibility. We'll slowly release that one on this side. Come back to your palms together. Lengthen through your chest. Okay, other side. Right hand down, left arm up. So just enjoy the stretch here. And then maybe turn your thumb. So reaching your hand around into your back pocket. And then maybe finding the bind. And then let's come back to center, palms together. Let's actually take our palms down to the ground, straighten out through your legs, lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Moving into our crow pose or our bakasana. So fingers are spread nice and wide, bending into your knees. You're trying to place your knees onto your triceps, the backs of your upper arms. You want to tilt forward, and then once you're lifting your weight forward, it's basically already there. You just have to lift your toes up and trust yourself. Good. Yes. So think of your arms are like creating the shelf and they're drawing down and together by your sides, just like chaturanga. And then you find that same lift that we found when we were doing our sort of headstand forward fold situation. Nice. Okay. And then once you've had your fun with that, let's come to a seated position. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Inhaling to sit up nice and tall and just round forward. You can reach your arms out long, out to the sides, whatever feels good. Let your head relax, releasing any tension from the upper neck, from the shoulders. Inhaling to sit up nice and tall here. Lengthening your legs out in front of you. Shake it out. Take your right knee and draw the knee up in towards the chest, setting the foot down. Okay. We'll take our right hand and also reach it out. So you're trying to reach and maybe grab your foot if it's available, or just grabbing somewhere on your leg and finding a stretch here. So if you can reach your foot and maybe beyond, if you can grab the sole of your foot, we're going to take our hand, turn the thumb down, and wrap it around our leg here. So we're holding on. And then maybe your left hand can go where your right hand was on your leg, or maybe your left hand can reach around into your back pocket and find a bind here as well. And take one more deep breath. Releasing your hands from whatever twisted position they were in. We'll sit up nice and tall, taking your leg across and over to make a figure 4 here. Inhaling to sit up tall, and then exhaling to fold forward over your leg, reaching for your foot or wherever you can grasp, thinking about nose towards the knee, and really imagining as we're folding forward here, it's like you're pulling traction on your spine. So your sit bones are anchored down, you're reaching the crown of the head out, and you're breathing deeply. Inhaling to sit up nice and tall here. And then we'll take this right leg and we're going to set the foot so it's down on the floor. Your bottom leg is going to bend underneath. If it's accessible. If this doesn't feel good for your hips, keep it straight. Right hand behind the back, left hand reaches up and over. You can press on the outside of the leg or hug the knee end closer to you, really whatever feels better. Lengthening through your neck, drawing the shoulders down and away from your ears, and really pressing the sit bones into the ground. Feel the navel hug in towards the spine, and then continue to twist. Take one more deep breath. And then we'll windmill our hands back around to the center here, uncrossing both of our legs, so releasing all of that everything was compressed and now it's open. And we'll go to the other side, starting by hugging the left knee in, sitting up tall, left arm reaches up, and then reaches forward to grab onto your leg, foot, somewhere. And if this feels, the two sides of the body might be different. If it feels comfortable on this side, you'll take your left thumb down, and then wrap your arm around your leg, and then your right hand replaces your left onto your extended foot. Finding your breath here, or maybe your right hand can reach around and grasp the fingers behind the back. Inhaling to sit back up nice and tall, releasing your hands, crossing the left foot over the right knee, and then folding forward over your leg. So aiming to reach not just for the foot, but beyond the foot, because once your hands can grasp onto your foot, then you can try reaching your hands to grab onto one wrist. It never ends. There's always somewhere new to go, so just try and enjoy the process and deepen further. Slowly release our hands, sit up nice and tall, take this leg, cross it over so the sole of the foot is down, tuck the bottom leg underneath, left hand behind your left hip, right arm reaches up and out to the side, pressing into your leg or hugging the leg in close to you, looking over your shoulder. And we'll slowly release back to center, untwisting, straightening out through the leg, shake it out. Okay. One last seated stretch. We'll reach the legs out to the side, mimicking our standing forward fold to help us gain that flexibility and also that pull in through the abdominals. Start to just walk your hands out and fold forward and down. You want to have active energy through your legs the whole time, like you are standing, and you want to be pulling your shoulder blades down your back. So think about, like, if we were to flip this, you'd be trying to reach your head towards the floor, and you want your neck to be long. Good, and it really is amazing just what a little bit over a few days will very quickly add up, and you'll see a pretty big difference. So your yoga practice doesn't have to be this like big hour or 90-minute thing like every single day of your life. It can just be like a few minutes of intentional breath and movement. I'll take one more deep breath here. And slowly walk the hands back in to sit up tall. Good, we'll bend our knees in together and bring our legs to one side and scoot towards the top of our mats. Reaching your hands out long in front of you, nod your chin to your chest and slowly start to roll down with control. Maybe your back cracks a few times in a good way. And then finally your head and shoulders come down, your shoulders and then your head. Okay, nice. Hugging your right knee in towards your chest, left leg reaches out long, shoulders down your back. And then let's switch, hugging your left knee in towards your chest, right leg reaches out long. And then hugging both knees in if you can. I'm still working on this one. Try and grab elbow to elbow here and still pull the shoulders down. Keeping the knees bent, releasing your hands and reaching your feet down towards the floor. We're going to make our way into a bridge position here. So don't turn your head when you're in the bridge. Keep your head looking up towards the ceiling. On an inhale, press your hips up, lifting up towards the ceiling here. You can reach your hands up or maybe even overhead if space allows. You could also take your hands behind your back and interlace the fingers, walking the shoulders closer together and opening through the chest. Take one more deep breath. And then slowly release, unfolding your hands if they were clasped, bringing them down by your side if they were overhead. Let's walk the feet out about mat width or a little bit wider. Drop the knees from one side and then to the other side, loosening up through your hips. Okay, let's come back to center. Taking our right leg straight up towards the ceiling, left leg long down on the mat. So this time reaching behind your calf, your hamstrings, or maybe reaching for your foot and finding your hamstring stretch here. Shoulders are pulling down the back and we're breathing. Take your left hand to the outside of the right knee or the right foot and then take your right leg across the body as you turn to look to your right side towards your right hand down on the floor. And you should feel this through the outside of your leg, through your IT band, which runs from the outside of your hip to the outside of your knee. On an inhale, let's come back to center. Let's take the leg out to the side. So we're going to take our right leg into our right hand and reach it over. You want to make sure your left hip stays grounded, so you're truly just stretching through the inner thigh of the right leg. And then inhale, reach the leg back to center. And slowly set the right foot down onto the floor, switching to the left leg. Left straight leg reaches up, rubbing behind your calf towards your foot, wherever your hand will go comfortably. And take our right hand and reach to the outside of the left foot or the left knee, taking your left leg across the body as you turn and look towards your left hand. Inhaling to reach the leg back up through center. Oof. Taking the left foot into the left hand, and now we're going to move it to the left side of the body. And your leg really shouldn't be anywhere close to the ground. It can go out to maybe like 45 or so degrees. And then from there, in order to get a deeper stretch, you need to work on pulling it closer to your face. Mm. Oh, we'll inhale to come back to center. That one's rough. We'll set the foot down. And then taking just a few moments to move in any other way that you feel like your body needs. If you need another twist, another little back bend, or anything else in order to feel completely at peace. And then once you feel like you got all of your little fidgets out, we'll meet into either a corpse pose or a seated position for your meditation. Setting yourself up to feel like the body can flow freely, or the energy can flow freely through the body. The eyes can be closed, allowing your breath to soften. Allowing the fingers and the toes to relax. The toes are dropping out and away from each other to the sides. Maybe starting to visualize like you're just sinking into a cloud and you're just floating on by. Like if you've ever been on an airplane, you feel like you can just kind of look down on everything with this perspective of it being like so small and almost insignificant. But then when you're on the ground, it seems huge. So taking that perspective here of just like anything else that might have been big before you started class is now just not so much of a concern. And you're just floating on by. Inviting your breath back to the body. Starting to slowly move your fingers and your toes, feeling like you're warming up those little joints. Maybe letting that travel up to your wrists, your ankles. And a nice big inhale, reach your arms overhead, point through your toes. And then we'll roll over onto one side if you are lying down. And you can let your head rest on the inside of your arm. Slowly helping yourself up to a seated position. We'll draw the palms together. You can close your eyes. Bowing our heads in gratitude to ourselves for showing up and making this time to be here to move our bodies mindfully. The light within me honors the light in each one of you. Namaste.